All right, everyone. Welcome back to Central Coast Disc Golf. This is the final round from the Innova Open at the 28th Annual Texas State Disc Golf Championship. I'm Nate Perkins, and I'm joined here with my good friend and fellow native Texan, Connor O'Reilly.
What's going on, you guys? Here for a exciting final day at the Texas State Disc Golf Championships, and here's a look at that current leaderboard. Coming into a day where we're expecting maybe some rain, definitely that humidity is back up. Weather ended up holding off pretty nicely though, and there was times where the wind was almost non-existent today.
And we can't gloss over the slow-mo of the alligator gar surfacing in the Greens Bayou.
Man,
are you kidding?
I saw those earlier in the week, and I didn't know what it was, but that's so cool to actually see what was moving around down there.
All right, Connor, what's up with hole one here? Playing as one of the harder holes on the course.
Definitely a challenging hole. You really have to push it straight for, honestly, at least 425 feet to really give yourself a good one here. Up to 450, maybe a little more, is going to really give you a short window into this one. And the closer you can get off the tee, the lower or the higher ceiling you can choose.
All right, welcome to the Innova Open at the 28th Annual Texas State Disc Golf Championships. All right, man. Hey, this event is a USDGC qualifier. We will be awarding spots to the top 4 finishers. On the box first, from Safety Harbor, Florida, please welcome Calvin Heimburg.
We got some extra fancy stats popping up for you guys for the players today. Super excited to see that. Let's see if Calvin can put off 3 for 3 great drives on this hole.
I'm going to go with yes. Oh,
wow.
That's going past Amando.
Yeah, gets a little bit of ground play today where he didn't yesterday. And once again, Calvin Heimburg has less than 300 feet into this basket.
From Loveland, Colorado, representing Innova Champion Disc, please welcome Joel Freeman.
Strawberries yesterday. Lime?
The limes.
All right.
Joel's always keeping it fresh.
And he's coming into the round 4 strokes back of Calvin.
We saw him come out strong yesterday and do what he could to put the pressure on, but Calvin, cool as the other side of the pillow. Oh, very similar drive to what he had yesterday.
From Mesa, Arizona, representing Discraft, please welcome Anthony Barela.
It's just not very common that you see 7 strokes separating anyone on the same lead card during the final round.
Yeah, one of our themes of the year has just been how the field is really tightening up, but Calvin just playing some impeccable golf right now, and AB gonna need some good action off that tree, and he gets it. We know well about AB's firepower.
From Kansas City, Missouri, representing Dynamic Discs, please welcome Chris Clemons.
Chris looks like he's actually lining up a backhand, but I'm surprised to not see him hit that lefty forehand. I wonder if that first pine on the left kind of gets in the way of his.
Oh, yeah, gonna be fun to see this course from a lefty perspective, and you
no.
think this would be a good drive for a left-hand backhand. Electing to re-tee because he doesn't want to take it only a few feet off,
No
and he hangs
way,
this one out
Connor.
again. Is this deja vu?
Okay. Oh, what a just tragic way to start your round, having to re-tee in front of a gallery of like 350 to 400 here watching this lead card. I know there were 500 total at the event on Sunday.
For a second, I thought the clip replayed on accident because he really yanked it out again. And
It looks so similar.
yeah, AB coming up just short there. Going to have a chance to strike that one in from 35 to get his round going.
You gotta love watching the lefty forehand, though. Something about it.
Hits the post. A little bit of a rollaway, though. We had some PVC Innova advertisement on the baskets, so kind of a unknown ground play compared to our other assets we usually see.
I think Calvin's tossing a Toro in there.
Yeah, he make that hole look so easy, you guys, and it is a challenge, even for the top in the world.
It's a gator for Joel.
Ooh, thought we were going to have another pull hit there. Just scoots past it. Yeah, Anthony just didn't get it up in the tailwind. You can see him kind of looking around, seeing where he went wrong on his read.
Pretty impressive single bogey.
Yeah, that could have gotten nasty quick, and it's a tough starting stretch of the course, so you want your mistakes to be
no.
pars, not bogeys.
A little kind of extra hitch there in that routine, and just didn't ever get that one above the rim, and that's really not the way you want to start when you're, obviously when you're 4 back, but I feel like Calvin kind of just thrives off of.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be an extra layer of pressure for these guys chasing right now, knowing how good Calvin's been playing. You almost have to play a perfect round, it feels like, today. So maybe Joel kind of had some of those thoughts creeping into his head, and he put a little extra pressure on that putt.
All right, hole 2. It's only 363. It plays slightly uphill. There's a bit of a low ceiling right off the tee. And there is a hazard, a little sand bunker right in front of the pin. And then this OB is just circle's edge deep and left.
Yeah, if you have that forehand with the low ceiling, it definitely seems to be the preferred play. And Calvin gets this one up into that circle. Got a tailwind putt. He's going to be liking the looks of that one.
His forehand power game has come a long way. This is not a routine forehand by any means, especially with that low ceiling right off the tee.
Yeah, and with his tailwind today, making the disc play a little more stable, you really got to get some pop on it.
AB going force. He told me that he's throwing the force for a lot of his forehands, and he's been throwing the venom for a lot of his backhand drives. And he's going to be throwing the nuke today as well for some of the backhand distance shots.
Yeah, I would guess some of that's probably due to just the profile of it. Maybe a little flatter with the forces to feel comfortable in the forehand grip. And Chris electing to avoid that hazard, playing the backhand. His backhand's gotten so much better the last few years, and it's great to see him rounding out his game. He's usually pretty dangerous from just outside the circle as well.
Yeah, Joel making the correction there.
Yeah, this one looked a little bit longer than it actually ended up being, and yeah, short work for Mr. Heimburg.
I think these are going to be the windiest putts we see all day as well. I mean, it was just, as you said, the humidity was up, temps again in the mid-70s, and the wind was really almost no wind to be had. It was calm. Out of the southeast again, similar to Friday, but just ripe for scoring, really.
Yeah, the direction wasn't really one we'd necessarily seen, but yeah, definitely not enough to really ever frighten you, just enough to kind of make you think for a second here and there. Here's another look at that spicy forehand out of Anthony Barela, that stacked grip. Making it look so easy with those long levers. And here we are on the third. Big bomb par 4. This one's a ton of fun to throw. And that second shot's very challenging, especially if you do not push the disc up past these two guys to the flat. They're kind of in this little bit of a bowl there, which makes the footing a lot trickier to get the momentum you need. This approach is going to play slightly uphill, and it's just going to be just enough to kind of throw your depth perception off and make it easy to come up a little bit short and have this massive uphill putt. 40 footers feel like 70 footers on this one if you're down below. And we know Calvin feasts on these low ceiling drives, so let's see where he puts it. Whoa.
A little early out of the hand there, Connor.
But it has enough speed. Looks like it drops past the corner a little bit. Let's see if he has a lie that he can attack with, or if he just chooses to settle for par. He has a lot of strokes to play with, so.
Joel, known for being very vocal about his shots, kind of commentates the
I was going to say, yeah,
shot right
he
out
does
of
it
his
for
hand.
you.
Yeah.
AB also.
Wow, that is so early. And that was the nuke there. Got to be wondering if he was reaching for a little too much.
Yeah, I think that's the only way AB ends up there. Is he's in his mind, he's thinking about putting it past the hill again the way he did round one, and
Which actually hurt him because the lie was like awkward and downhill.
yeah, you try running downhill and throwing uphill. It's not very easy.
Oh, he hit that hard.
Gonna need
And
this
that's
to
headed to
curl.
OB.
Got the fans moving, and
no,
it
hits
catches.
the stroller.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if that had a chance to come back, but you hate to see the disc not get to the spot that it would naturally.
Just two completely unforced errors. That is a wild mistake from AB here on a hole where OB's kind of hard to find here on the third.
Yeah, a player of AB's arm speed, there's so many opportunities available to him based off how aggressive he wants to get. But here and there, if you don't rein it in, it can come back to bite you, and that's going to be nearly an unmakeable putt. You run that, the risks are very large.
Calvin pretty much throwing backwards here.
Yeah, he pushed way into that pocket left.
What's happening?
I don't know. Calvin finally showing a little bit of his human side. Made a mistake. It's been rare this weekend. And Joel playing a nice high shot. Going to be a testy putt, but it's a good win to drop it in. Let's see how he's feeling.
What a terrifying place to land.
Oh, and Calvin just gets smashed down by the tailwind. That's not going to be what he was looking for when he tried to settle for that safe par. Anthony said unrunnable. What? Come on. And yeah, what a crazy bogey. He's
just gonna walk it in, man.
Yeah, you can tell he's
I love
he's a
this
little
right
upset, but
now.
he
Look
feels
at this
slightly
guy.
happy. You can tell he almost wanted to smile. I see it, AB.
Yeah, I mean, he has walked that all the way in from 55 feet. What a crazy way to take a single bogey.
Yeah, definitely.
Woods left, roller OB, forehand to 55, cash.
You missed that putt and roll down. Who knows? This hole could get away from you quick. But I think that putt's really going to help AB settle in and understand that if he can really put the pedal on.
Beautiful like park job from Chris with that massive forehand approach.
Yeah, I just love the lower body momentum Chris gets into his forehand. Such good power. And, the way course design kind of slightly has favored the right-hand players over time. I think for the lefty, you really got to have a strong forehand if you want to compete, unless your straight shot backhand is just on that god tier. And AB, not a single wobble. What a clean putt. So pretty to watch. Of course, is looking beautiful in the sunshine, the green grass today. And here's a look through 3 holes. Nobody has the perfect 3 yet other than Aaron Gossage in that top 10, looking to make a move up that leaderboard.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom, it's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
It has a turn for those guys that don't have a lot of power. It's fast and it's got good glide.
All right, hole 4. Blind hyzer hole here, 405 feet. Teeing off over this creek, over the bridge, kind of testing those pine trees on the right that are out of bounds. And then there is some OB here on the left side, and
Yeah, this
pretty
one's
pretty tricky tee shot.
definitely feels like you just commit to your angle here and then just kind of hold your breath and wait to see what's going to happen. Chris held his breath on that one and got through the high branches. Yeah, you can see a happy smile out of Chris, and Joel playing a little bit more of a flat, overstable line instead of that hyzer release. Another good shot here.
Really exactly what you want to see. Flat to maybe a little bit of hyzer.
This is inside, but it has the speed.
Oh, that's the same
Wow.
mistake he made during round 2.
Yeah, Calvin.
He's
2
looking at
holes in a
back-to-back
row.
bogeys, Connor.
Very, very surprising. Honestly, 3 was more surprising than this one. To me, this hole, I feel like, definitely can come sneak up and grab a bogey on you pretty quick, even if you feel like you didn't miss by too much. So I don't think this one's going to bother Calvin too much, but stacking it on top of one the hole before, I think he's going to start to feel a little bit of that pressure, understanding that while he does have a big lead, he can't just get casual out there. Yeah,
And
just-
this is to cut the lead to 2 strokes.
Joel puts it out flat, catches it in those right side chains. It's a good birdie pickup. He's gonna need a lot more. But like Nate said, chipping away at that lead, all of a sudden
The man's human, Connor.
those 5 strokes went to 2. Or those 4 strokes went to 2, I should say. And AB taking a rare par as well as Clemons here. Most of the time you see players throw a good drive and capitalize on this one. Joel keeping those eyes forward, allowing him to gain extra accuracy and mental calmness, I believe. I feel like if you turn your head earlier, it kind of leads to some overthinking sometimes. In hole 5, dual option par 3. There's a right side gap that you're not seeing on this drone flight that a lot of players are going to elect to take, trying to fly it to maybe 30 feet short so you can get a little bit of ground play, because if you land it too short, you're going to really catch those clovers. There's also a mid-range turnover or a forehand on the left side. And I feel like this gap on the right has just gotten taller and taller as we've played it this week. Players catching some of that stuff and chopping it down, and Joel plays a nice shot and just picks up on that steep hill.
Just a little bit too fast with that Firebird. You really don't want to see that one crest that hill.
Yeah, or if it does, you want to see it just hit right at the top, I guess. But yeah, you don't want to fly the hill, that's for sure.
Yeah, AB just going down tempo on this Onyx here. I think Chris threw a felon forehand. And
Yeah,
I
that's-
think Calvin is going with this Champ Firebird.
This one looks great. Yeah, hits with enough angle.
Chill.
But landed a few feet shy of Joel's. Otherwise, they had a pretty similar line and able to curl up nicely inside circle one. Chris gonna lay this one up. This green does run off very fast behind. Maybe at this point, Chris feeling like, he's not off to a super hot round, not necessarily feeling like he needs to try to overdo it for the win, still understanding that placing well is going to be important in the long run of the season.
Yeah, one of the changes is the Silver Series events are actually worth 50%. It's a 100% increase from last year's Silver Series worth. What do you think about that, Connor?
I don't hate it. I think it rewards the players who want to get out there and compete some more. I think doubling it might be slightly aggressive, but I think we're at the point in our game with our tour that we're trying to figure out what the best way to do things are, and I think without trying to change things up, it's hard to figure that out sometimes. So good on the Disc Golf Pro Tour for listening to the players and trying to give them what they want.
And I actually just found out today that they're no longer doing buys into the semifinals, that it's actually going to be strokes, similar to how the FedEx Cup is played on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun format. I like how they keep switching up the Pro Tour Championship to kind of figure out what the best format's going to be, or whether we kind of just keep alternating it. I think either way, it's fun to mix it up for the fans and create some different scenarios. Calvin's eyes locked in. Stays in the chains all the way until the putter is well inside them.
All right, hole 6. Shortest par 4 out here at Brock Park Gold. Blind tee shot, uphill, left to right shaping fairway here. OB's pretty tight right in the woods and also relatively tight on this left side. If you pump this drive far enough, you can see the basket kind of slopes down towards the woods here. And Calvin has just been throwing this turnover eagle great here. And he does so once again. That's just a beautiful drive.
Yeah, he might have that Toro in from there on the forehand. And this one definitely sets up nicely for the lefty. Testing that OB line, but putting a good angle on it. And he's going to have a nice wide berth into the green. You see AB and Calvin kind of standing with their heels off the back of the tee. And AB playing an aggressive one. But this tee's pretty short, I feel like, and you don't have any chance to run up from behind it because it's like a meter off the ground, the back of that tee. So unless you're doing a box jump, you're not utilizing any extra run up.
And the forehand plays here, you're just kind of setting yourself up for a longer approach. And, Joel's still going to just go gator here. This is his straight gator. And I think this is a really comfortable range for him to just throw the gator hard.
Yeah, and as fast as this green is, and like you said, with it running away into that wall of trees, I think it is smart to club down here if you can. Because the way that hill falls away, as long as you hit 45 short, 30 short, you're going to get there.
I think this is harp here for Chris.
Yeah, well
Perfect
placed.
speed on that shot. AB, this is the Zone OS. Have you seen this disc fly, Connor?
I may or may
Look
not
at
have
this
actually
Annie.
tested one of those things out in Waco, just having some fun. And
Oh, you did?
It is unreal overstable, you guys.
You threw it with Ezra?
I threw it with Brian Earhart, and yeah, it was
cool.
wild. It was wild, hell.
And this is Toro from Calvin. Similar slot, but far less overstable. And actually, I got to overhear Calvin chatting with Chris Clemons about all the changes that have been made to the Toro to, en route to how it's flying now. And he uses it quite a bit, so it seems to do the trick. Kind of an overstable approach to this that doesn't have too much glide.
Yeah, those overstable approaches, I feel like, depending on the plastic blend and the how the dome shapes up, I feel like the softer ones usually end up flying pretty straight with very mild fade, and then especially for the high power players. But you really got to mold them up kind of puddle top and stiff for these top players to actually be able to whack on them and have them fade with little worry. And Chris with the fresh jersey on, looking like a solo cup out there. Look at that beautiful blonde hair swinging around.
Oh, like the 1980s Solo Cup?
Right? I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting. Something in there. I know Discraft had some shirts like that last year too. And here we have hole 7, mixing in the first of our 3 short-wooded technical holes in the par 3 division. This one's 294 feet. Play a turning backhand or a straight forehand that finishes gently. And try to give yourself a look on this one. It played as the second easiest hole on the course today, so look for these guys to really attack. And shout out to Central Coast for getting you guys some extra graphics involved today with those hole stats. I think it's really cool to be able to see stuff like that. It gives us more time to just focus on the shots and not have to tell you guys how the course is playing as much. Chris pushing this one too straight.
Yeah, too straight. And Calvin's turnover looked great, but then got just some extra ground play, and he found himself in some pretty dense rough, like right inside the circle even.
Anthony soars this one a bit deep. He's going to have to straddle out with his right leg in some nasty stuff. And let's see if he's able to connect there for birdie. This card not playing the hole as cleanly as you'd expect the lead card final day. Joel with the only clean look inside the circle, really. Oh. Chris does his best to try to drop that one in. Anthony electing to go to that knee so he doesn't have to straddle out and create an awkward upper body position. Calvin unable to find the basketball window in there today, and
there's that hesitation again. Oh, but he gets that one up into the bit of the right to left wind and cuts the lead back to 3. We still have a ball game.
No doubt, yeah. Calvin definitely cannot take those sighs of relief yet, knowing that par is going to do it for him. He still needs to score quite a few birdies. He probably still needs at least 6 to 7 birdies for the round to really feel comfortable. A little bit less than that, and he's going to feel some stress.
All right, and the walk from hole 7 to hole 8, pretty sweet. We're crossing that bridge. It's like a 360-foot bridge, and this is on a old public golf course. So we cross this gnarly creek known as the Greens Bayou, and we walk to this par 5 here, 1,161 feet, and this is the hole that the spectators get to basically stand on this bridge and watch this lead card throw as far as they can.
Yeah, off the tee here, you really want to, like Nate said, put it as far as you can. Ideally finish a little bit left, but there's a lot of spots you can be in bounds and make progress for that second one.
And there they are. That's a great look at that bridge right there, crossing the bayou. What a cool setting for a Silver Series event.
Yeah, super excited that the Houston disc golf scene got to check out some disc golf pro tour action. I know they've had some big tournaments in the past, but this one definitely the biggest yet. And Calvin getting way out there to the left. That's going to be a great position. The second shot here is tricky. You kind of have to throw either just super driven and try to penetrate the gaps, or you'll see a lot of high flex shots, maybe some big rollers. Let's see what these guys end up choosing.
How many players are playing on the tour that their forehand is actually their power distance shot?
Almost none. There's
two?
probably a
I
handful.
guess just two. Just
Probably a
Chandler
handful.
Kramer and
Yeah, I think Chandler, Chris
Clemons.
I can't really think of anybody else who's full time in it who throws further forehand than backhand.
That nuke was just blasted.
Anthony's
into
past that
oblivion.
mound. Hold on, let's not gloss
Connor,
over
that's
that.
like
That is
605.
that is ridiculous, you guys.
He threw it 78 miles per hour. We had a guy there doing radar for the Disc Golf Network. 78 miles per hour, 605 feet, slightly uphill with that nuke.
Great shots end up like 100 or 120 feet short of that. AB just, he's playing a different game. He's, I feel like him and Eagle are kind of in that category. Just like the way they can spin the disc, just different than anyone else does on the golf course. Watching Calvin's reaction here. You'll never know whether he likes it or not because Calvin just, he's just that guy. And he doesn't like that one too much. But honestly, if it was perfect, I think his face would have been the exact same.
Oh, and AB just going real conservative here on this shot.
Wow. And he catches some
is
stuff.
wild,
Otherwise, he would have had
man.
another 20, 30 feet.
The way that he leaves his body on that one, too, just kind of follows around it.
Yeah, when Anthony throws hard enough, and instead of like rotating on that heel, he almost just like leaves the ground and chooses to not put all that force into his body. Instead, just kind of let it disappear, which definitely takes some good athleticism to do that.
Yeah, I had mentioned it before already on Central Coast that, I was always a fan of AB, but after watching the Central Coast production of Goat Hill and the slow-mo of AB leaving the ground and then catching his hat while he's spinning is like...
Definitely an iconic slow-mo. I can picture it in my head. I've definitely watched that one before.
I think if you don't know, or if you've never seen the disc golf throw before, even if you never have, you would look at that and go, okay, that's like a crazy athletic movement, whatever that person is doing.
Absolutely.
It has to make it into the Olympics one day.
Yeah, that
Like
was
just the distance alone could make it into the Olympics, not even the golf aspect of it.
Yeah, I think so. Let's make sure we keep putting pressure on that Olympic committee, and we're gonna get there one day, you guys.
Oh man, and that Firebird gets caught up. He's gonna be at like 55 right there.
We haven't necessarily seen any of those highlight putts that Calvin was writing in yesterday. Let's see if today will be the first.
Wait, is this after 2?
This is after 2 for AB, and he caught some stuff on his way in.
What is that, Anthony?
Literally,
Come on, man.
most players play this hole perfect and have like 200 feet in. Anthony just a little jump putt. And he didn't even play it perfect. That's just crazy. Chris been coming out a little wobbly on these jumpers. They're looking online, but just not quite giving them the pace today.
And he's kind of known for hitting a few of those around.
Oh my gosh. And on cue, I knew Calvin was due for a highlight. And he delivers the way that the pizza man only can.
Nice, Connor.
Sometimes they just fall in your lap and it works, And Joel definitely wanted to get that after Calvin makes a huge one. Anthony making this hole look like child's play. Chris probably letting him know something about how impressive that was. And there you see the hole averaging just under par. We got to see a couple highlight birdies and 2 pars. Joel making sure the disc
Shows the
rests.
Calvin slow-mo. Here it is.
swinging it all the way down low, putting a little bit of turn out of the hand to push it straight.
Bink.
And Calvin Heimburg,
Oh, we're going to get the rundown too? Come on. Yes.
you could see it.
Look at the curls.
He was starting to feel a
flapping.
little bit of that pressure, but a putt like that's going to make him feel some relief.
Wait, he still has no smile. This is too good. Central
Calvin
Coast,
Heimburg is
come
a
on.
savage, and he is going to be playing hole 9 at 360 feet, most likely with a forehand, as that is the most open and available route if you want the birdie. However, you are going to have to fly over this out of bounds line for just a second, or at least test it pretty hard. The ground could be pretty fast up here as the out of bounds pinches left, right, and long, so you really have to measure your distance well. A little extra pep in Calvin's throw after that jumper, and he's going to have another obstructed lie, but
He's 3 for 3 landing right around that tree. And in round 1, he hit from 45. Round 2, he hit from about 35. So we'll see what he does there from a similar distance.
and to me, like where Calvin's ending up is kind of how you can perfect this hole. You're kind of avoiding the danger, but giving yourself a chance, whereas Anthony, kind of playing a little more risky. He is going to give himself a better birdie opportunity, but if you mess that line up, then the bogey's going to come quick.
Joel says 2 days in a row. If you recall yesterday, he threw it low and just kind of punched it out. OB never came back in.
Yeah, definitely one of those holes that I feel like Joel's skill set suits very well. Chris catching
Joel.
a big flare.
No. Just enough for the roll to find that OB line.
Barely curls up in the wrong direction for Chris. Joel from about 80, 85 feet, just kind of having to concede the par.
I think a lot of people give Joel, like, a lot of people don't like it that he's vocal like that. I think we all have, those thoughts in our head. He just says it out loud.
For sure, yeah. There's a lot of players who, we all have internal thoughts on every shot, every situation, but yeah. Some players like to wear it outwardly and let everybody else know, or it's just kind of how they are able to calm themselves down or whatever. Some players, might feel like a million things are going on, but you kind of look at them from the outside and it looks like they're just that duck on water.
And I know it's something that he's actually really conscious of, and he's working on it. I know that he actually made a post speaking publicly that he doesn't like it when he watches himself and sees himself do that, and he wants to change. So,
and as we know, the first step to change is recognizing that there's something that you want to fix, and I think that shows a lot of maturity out of Joel, making sure he's not affecting his card mates, just playing the game and internalizing some of those thoughts. AB with the chain swinging. We got 3 sets of 3 down. Chris in that even. Been kind of a slow front 9. You can see everybody's putting a little extra pressure on that final day. And here's a look at that leaderboard. Alden Harris 7 through 9. Aaron Gossage, Bradley Williams 6 through 9. Those are the hottest scores through 9 so far on the leaderboard. Calvin still starting to find that momentum back. Let's see how the competitors can fare against the Pizza Man.